Okay, so what we are going to see today about the JS brush up, TypeScript brush up, and many other things we will see today. Okay, so let me start with creating one repository on the Git. So I'm going to push all the codes at the Git. Okay, so you'll find all the codes on the GitHub. So let me check recording settings. Okay, fine. Now you can go to the github.com/codekul, github.com/codekul, right? New, and whatever is the folder name, I'll copy same this here as a repository name. Okay, now you can see add git ignore. So git ignore for what it is asking. So I am saying git ignore for node, git ignore file it is asking you. Now I would like to add git ignore file for, or I'll add it manually. Right? And you can say create repository. So I have created one Git repo here, right? Let me clone the project first. In my repository I would like to clone it. So git clone, and you can paste it this link. So from the server this would be coming like this, right? And let me open that folder, open the folder which has been cloned from the Git. Now I'm opening that folder. If you can see, this folder with the git ignore is on my screen. Okay, so this is a git ignore file, you can check. Now what I want to do, let me create one more folder inside this, and you can say JS brush up. It's a brush up session, not in detail JS, right? And let me create a simple file. You can say my dot, or you can say intro.js. Now in the intro, it's a folder. Why it is a folder? It should be file. Please come in. What happened? Okay, so let me add it, and you can say intro.js, right? So I'm saying it is nothing but what? Introduction.js. Now when you say intro, let me tell you all thing about JS. So here you can say very first code I'm going to write console.log, and here you can say this is introduction to JS, JavaScript, right? Now before that I want to test all these codes. What I want to do, I want to run all these codes, right? Make sure that in the introduction session, make sure that you have installed Node.js on your machine. You have installed what? It's a long-term support LTS, and I'm using this current one 1140, right? If you go to the command prompt and if you type node -v, I would be having 1140 is my latest version. Now how do you install the node? For installing the node, right, if you are on a Macintosh, very simple. If you are on the Windows, simple. But if you are on the Linux, it might create little bit complications. So make sure that you will first install NVM, node virtual machine, on your machine, on Linux machine. Even if you can do this on the Windows Mac, that is also fine, right? But mostly it is for the Linux only. So on the Linux, every time install what you can say node by means of NVM only, node virtual machine only, right, is very important thing. So NVM is one utility which will give you access to all the remote versions. If you can see, NVM is one utility which is giving you ls remote. Ls remote means all the latest versions of the node that would be on your screen. Can you see version 10.14.2 is a LTS version, right? And presently I am using this green one. Now you can, if you want to install any of the version, you can put NVM install. Yes, NVM install 10.2.1, something like this. So this version would be installed on your machine, right? And one additional feature of the NVM is that it is allowing you to use multiple versions of the node by the command nvm use. You install and you use. You can switch to node versions very easily by means of what? NVM use. Okay. Now this is about what you can say a little bit about node installation. Well, you have installed the node, right? You have installed what? Node. Now I want to execute this command, or I want to run this intro.js. What you would be doing? cd js brushup. I went inside the folder, and then what is going to happen? Node, right? Space name of your file intro.js. Can you see? Intro.js would be the output here. So I have hit the command node space name of the JS file, right, with the extension, and you would be getting complete this thing, which is nothing but what you can say your interpreter node is executing JS file outside the browser, right? We are executing JS files outside the browser by means of what? Node interpreter. Well, this is not the lecture of what is node, but how to execute the JS file. That is the concern. So what is node? This is not the intention of this lecture. Okay, but fine. Installation I told you. How to run it I told you. It's just a brush up. Whatever needed things for the Angular, we are going to touch all that things. It's a brush up, not detailed session. Okay, fine. So this is about introduction.js, right? Now what I would like to introduce you to the ES6.js, right? What we are going to use is nothing but what? ES6, right? Now see, where I can say, and you can say version is equals to 10, where version is equals to 10, right? Then what you can say, if true, right, if true, you can say where version is equals to 20, and then you can say console.log, you can say version is what you can say plus ver, this one. So this program will tell you the problem of where. Do we have discussed this? Do we have discussed this before? Long back. Okay, fine. If you can see var version, if true, what would be the output of this code? What would be the value of version? It would be 20. Okay, but technically, right, if you are in the scoped programming language, if you are discussing the scope, value of the version should be what? 10. But see, let me run the program, and what happens, node, you can say es6.js, version is 20, right? But technically answer should be what? 10. Now if you want to introduce the lexical scoping, right, what I'll do, I can have let, right, I will introduce what? Let you can say nm, os name is, you can say, honeycomb, one of the Android version, right, and here let nm is equals to what we can say, your Mango, one of the Microsoft OS, Mango, right, and you can say console.log OS is what you can say plus nm. OS is what? Plus nm. Now let me run the code once again. I have used let, right? I have used what? Let instead of what? Var. Now see the output, right? If you can see, for the var version is 20. For the var version is what? 20, because you have used what? Var. For the let version is what? Sorry, name is what? This and not this. If you can see, so this version is this version, right? This name is taking from what? This name. Scoping. Scope has been involved now because of what? Let. Remember that, use let instead of vars. You can completely replace vars with the lets. Lexical scoping. Okay. Now another thing, multi-line strings, right? Here you can say console.log, and I would like to have multi-line strings. I would like to have multi-line strings. See, I'm using backticks. These are not what you can say single quotes. These are backticks, right? And multi-line string is possible. See, right? So we have, you can write something. We have Android in Codekul and version 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 is, see, right, version is 20, and OS is what you can say Mango, like this. Multi-line strings, see, and you can evaluate also. Instead of this, you can use dollars, and inside dollars you can say ver. So instead of OS, this you can have dollar, and you can have what you can say nm. You can have what? nm. Evaluations inside the string. So you don't need what you can say your these things, concatenation. Instead of this, how you can write this? OS is, remove the plus, this ugly syntax, and here you can have dollar and the nm. So this line and this line is very same. Lexical scoping, right? In the ES6 there are many more things, right? After the functions and the variables, I'll define that as well, right? But for this we can use this much lines of code only, right? Now how to represent the functions and how to represent the another things, that we'll see in a moment. Okay.